I see the chat. He should bring some breadcrumbs. Aye, true, Bobby, true. Don't feed ducks bread. Don't do it. But spawning in the top right hand corner of Royal Blood, we have the American Zerg player representing Apprentice Esports. It is Ukko. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Royal Blood, we have his opponent. We have the Peruvian Zerg player, the Street Fighter himself, representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Ryu. Oh boy, it's a ZvZ. Anything can happen. Vámonos, papi, vámonos. Let's go. Now, Ryu, I talk about this a lot whenever we cast the Latin American events, but it has been a while since we've casted a Latin American tournament. Amongst all the Zerg players in Latin America, Universe, Eggs, Jim Rising, Cham, Eric, and Ryu is the most standard. He is the most economic focused, up and up, macro oriented. So when it comes to openers, the likelihood of him going for a 12 pool or a 13-12 or anything aggressive is not very high at all. Ryu was like the polar opposite of Eric. Eric, every game, pool first, gas first, 13-12, 12 pool, whatever. Eric is all about the hyper aggression. Ryu, he's like, mate, calm down. Ryu is like, we be Chilean, papi, we chill. And goes for more like mid-game timings is what I should say. Because of that, Ryu can sometimes be a little bit predictable. You can sometimes get away with maybe some greed against him. I'm not saying that he's passive. Like, if he sees an opening, he will go for it for sure. But at least when it comes to the openers, he isn't the most aggressive player. He's not very aggressive at all. This applies to every matchup. Meanwhile, Ukko is a lot more versatile. You know, he is of course mainly a streamer, and there's a lot of information on him out there, but he does like getting kind of map control and getting that kind of momentum in his favor. So I wonder how these two different players will clash. They don't face off too often at all, as Ryu typically ladders on the European ladder. I'm sure Ukko's home is the NA ladder. So we'll see. I'm curious. As we see a hatch gas pull from both players are going for their third base as well. Very standard openers from both sides right now. We should be seeing some Baneliness soon, and we should be able to get into the mid game. Let's go, Papi, let's go. Lings across the map, just confirming everything, and no one is skipping any tech. We have a Baneliness on the way from Ryu and a Baneliness from Ukko as well. Again, everything looking normal. No one is cutting any corners. A gentleman's agreement. An honorable ZvZ. At least in game one. We are honorable, papi. Now, this is where things start to diverge. Now that both players know that they have Baneliness and third bases are on the way, will anyone lane flood each other and try and deny the third? That's kind of where the first sign of aggression lies. We do see a bit of a link scout coming in. Ryu does slip into the main base, confirming, as link speed kicks in, confirming the lack of gas, the lack of fast lair, just making sure that Ukko isn't doing anything out of the norm. And here we go. Ukko is the first to show a sign of aggression. He's sending his links across the map. This is designed to force a reaction and to also maybe break the third base. But the queens are moving forward. The Banelings have arrived, and Ukko is forced back. So yeah, both players just kind of checking each other. Ryu is forced to make additional Banelings. You can see that Ukko only has one Baneling, and Ryu defensively had to make more, so had to waste a little bit of gas here, a little bit inefficient from Ryu, and a nice little like inadvertent damage from Ukko. Ooh. As Ukko slips in with the Link Scout, also confirming the lack of additional gases and the lack of lair. Very important to make sure that no one is rushing into a spire, rushing into a lair. As we have our lair on the way for Ukko. Not just that, but we have two gases being taken as well. I love this from Ukko, by the way. Even though his main and his natural just got scattered, not the gases at the natural, but you know what I mean. The link got all the way in. The gases are hidden here at the third base instead. Very cute, very cute. Lair's about to finish up. From here, we don't have any upgrades. There we go. We have Roach speed on the way. I was curious if we were going to be seeing a Spire But Ukko may be looking to cut drones soon, because there is no Evo chamber, there is no +1 air attack, sorry, +1 missiles or +1 carapace. Ukko is just really going for one big Roach Ling push. The Lings of Ryu once again dipping on in. He confirms the lair, he confirms the Roach Warren researching and the lack of Evo chamber. There we go. Good reaction. Spines are thrown down. He knows Ukko is going for an all-in. Ryu has confirmed. Now all he has to do is defend. Roaches are on the way. Is one spine crawler enough? Will it even be in position? That's the question. It's here over on the left-hand side, but the push may be coming towards the right. Can Ryu respond in time? As Ukko is banking up all of those roaches. Ryu ahead in workers. He's going to be ahead in upgrades. +1 range is about to finish up. He won't have roach speed, but he doesn't need it because Ryu is the defender. 4th base on the way as well. Ryu trying to squeeze out as much greed as possible. And here we go. Ukko is pushing. Now the army hasn't been really spotted per se, but Ryu is aware of what's happening. Ukko is droning behind this. Interesting. So it looks like Ukko realizes that this push may not work, so he's preparing for the worst. Here we go. The roaches are about to rock up. Ukko does have a roach lead, and the Lings as well. We have a spine crawler, but that may just not be enough. Ryu not taking this seriously. We have 14 roaches on the way, but before they pop out, Ryu's army is crumbling. Lings making it into the main base as well. Ryu is defending relatively well, but the spine crawler goes down. Ugh, the boys are being pulled as well. Drones falling left and right. The reinforcements are showing up, and Ryu will hold. But at the cost of 9 workers, and Ukko will take a worker lead. He is behind in upgrades. He's only just now starting +1 range, but he's going to be having that economic advantage. He's working on his 4th base, forced to cancel of the 4th of Ryu. And he may just force a counterattack. I mean, Ryu has an advantage with those upgrades. He can try and move out now if he wanted to. Meanwhile, Ukko mixing things up. We have Burrow, we have Tunneling Claws. Gonna be sticking with Roach Rav for a while. I thought I saw a Hydroden, but I guess they cancelled. I thought I saw Ukko throw in a Hydroden for a moment. In the end, he's sticking with the Roach Rav. 4th base on the way. Ryu still not starting his own 4th. But Ryu, I don't know if you noticed, he's not droning. He is not droning whatsoever. This is what I was talking about. In the early game, he's passive, but here he smells some blood in the water. He is hoping that Ukko is maybe being a little bit too greedy, maybe droning up too much. Ryu can hit a pretty strong +2 timing. Does still have that upgrade advantage. Ukko still has a pretty strong army overall, but there we go. The concave is just a little bit too good. Ryu takes an efficient trade. Nice hold position micro there, able to avoid that bile as well. Oh, but Ukko is about to max out. So Ukko's going to have a larger army. Ryu will have a more high quality army. Which one will work out? That's kind of the question here. Oh, Ryu forced to push in. But they may just be too much. Yeah, Ukko is gaining ground. The advantage gotten earlier is just too much. The boys are being pulled. But Ukko, he was able to get that economic lead earlier. GG gets called. And Ukko will take game number 1. Oh. GG. Yeah, I think when it comes to the 4th base of Ryu, I don't know if he had to cancel it, to be honest. It was unfortunate that had to happen, but GG, well played. Ukko pulls it off in the end. His roach push did deal a lot of worker damage, forced Ryu into a really awkward position. And now we get ready for game number 2. But yeah, I'm really curious. I'm really looking at Ukko to kind of be the player to set the pace for the momentum of each game. And we saw that in game 1, right? We saw him take the initiative, and I expect that to kind of continue. And we'll see if Ryu can keep up here. We'll see if he can keep up, as we're going to be getting into game number 2 on Ancient Cistern. I'm catching up in the chat. Oh, we're getting some updates in the chat as well. Let's go. Eggs currently up 2-1 against Future. Ooh, 1 game away from qualifying. Nina up 2-1 against M Canning as well. Let's go. As we're getting into game 2 and spawning in the top right hand corner of Ancient Sister, and we have the American Zerg player currently up 1-0 in this best of 5 qualifying match representing Apprentice Esports. It is Ukko. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Ancient Sister, and we have his opponent. We have the Peruvian Zerg player representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is Ryu. Getting caught, maybe being a little bit too greedy in that last game. Maybe cutting too many corners, going for that fast 4th base instead of hyper-focusing on roach production. We'll see if he can adapt here. We're still pretty early on in this series. Still only game 1 has concluded, so plenty of room to grow here. Personally, I would love this to not be a 3-0. Either way. Whether it's Ukko winning or Ryu, I would love for this to be a more back and forth series. We'll see how this goes as we're getting to hatch gas pools from both players. Once again, standard openers. Slight variation out of Ukko. I think he went for like a slightly earlier hatchery. We can see here he has a slightly earlier gas as well. But not the biggest of deals. It's like only a couple of seconds. Oh. Let's go. So yeah, things are going to be calming down a little bit. And yeah, I do appreciate people keeping us up to date in the chat as to some of the other series that are going on, maybe on other players that are qualifying as well. It is always great to see some of those live updates. We appreciate it. I appreciate it. No. Especially when it comes to finding out if Eric has an opponent. We're not going to switch series, not at all. We're going to stick with this ZvZ. But it would be nice to know if Eric is going to be going up against M Canning or Nina when that time does come. Oh boy, here we go. Well, outside of that, again, everything is looking quite normal here. We have our 3rd bases on the way for both players, as to be expected. Ukko expanding linearly, and so is Ryu. Away from each other, you love to see it. And both players are going for their link scouts as well. What I will say is that it did seem as if Ryu was a little bit more on point when it came to his link scouting. Just his reactions maybe not what they needed to be. So hopefully he can tighten up in that respect. Link's just going to be annoying each other, confirming the 3rd bases. Ooh, and Ryu takes a couple of extra hits, so he's going to have a hard time getting past these queens here. Ooh, we'll lose 1 Ling in the end. He's going to try and run past, but yeah, nah, there's just no way. Ryu is denied the scout, and Ukko is Ling flooding. This is what I meant earlier. Again, I feel like Ukko is the one to set the pace for the game. Game 1, he went for a very strong roach timing. Game 2, he's going to be going for a very big Ling flood. Here we go, the Lings are being sent across time. They are spotted by Ryu. Ryu does have defensive banelings on the way, but they're not ready yet. Oh, and only 1 baneling in production right now. We're going to need more than that. There we go, a 2nd baneling on the way as well. Oh, we are going to be playing with a little bit of ping, but how good is the connection? Up. Oh, the 1st baneling goes down, only getting 3 Lings, and that is disastrous for Ryu, but we now have a 2nd baneling. Up. Oh, again, not the connection that we needed. And without those baneling connections, Ryu may just have to give up the space. He is coming forward with those queens, and with the help of the queens, he will defend. Behind this, Ukko. Very fast lair on the way. He is not going for... he is going for a roach one, to be fair. We'll see how many gases he goes for as well. If he does go for another roach speed timing or into Spire, into Mutas. Ancient Sister, not a bad map for that. As Ryu is going to be counterattacking with +1 melee. He's looking to be the Link Flooder now. Mate, you want to Link Flood me? Nah, mate, I'll show you how it's done. With +1 melee, papi. It's going to be difficult. Ryu, he scouts, he confirms the Roach Warren. He also sees the defensive Baneling nest as well. Ling flooding against Ling Bane is always a difficult ask. Here we go. The Lings are flooding across the map, head towards the third base. Gases are being taken. This is looking like mutas. Oh, the Banelings are not quite done yet. Queen is going to be going down. A couple of drones are being focused on as well. The Banelings are going to be able to finish. Ryu slips into the main base. He's going to get a full scout of said main. Oh, and is he going to commit? He's committing. He just runs straight into the natural base as well. Gets us around on two of these queens. One queen will fall. The second will survive. As the Lings are being cleaned up, we did get eyes on the lair. We saw the gases being taken. Ukko has to make a choice. He just got scouted. Does he commit to the Spire? Or does he do something different? As back at home, Ryu is getting ready for the counterattack. Getting his own lair. There we go. We have Roach speed on the way instead of that Spire. Oh. We're going to be going into a Roach follow-up from here. Meanwhile, I believe Ryu, yeah, he doesn't have a Roach Warren. Not yet. Up. Up. Oh, it looks like in the end, all the Banelings get taken out from each other. One queen goes down from the side of Ryu, so Ukko dealing some nice counter damage after losing his own queen. And I feel like Ryu's on a timer right now. He's taking his gases. Oh, he's working on his own Spire, but Roaches are going to hit faster. That's the problem. Ryu, he needs to figure out what's going on. He gets a queen. Gets +1 melee. He sees the Roach Warren researching. He sees the Roaches as well, and this may be too much. Yeah, we just have to make as many links as possible. We just have to buy as much time as possible here for Ryu. Buy time for his Spire, for his mutas. Oh. Here we go. Lings do go for a wraparound. They actually want to try and go for the hatchery. Oh my god. Bold move, Ryu. Bold move. Doesn't get it in the end. Just going to be threatening. Continue to threaten these bases. The Spire is almost done. Almost. But the Roach count is getting out of control. We already have 13 Roaches. We're about to have 23 Roaches. That's a lot of Roaches. And Ryu can make 5 mutas? 6 maybe? Oh, here we go. Ukko is going for his Roach push. Ryu getting bamboozled earlier with that fast lair, thinking that maybe Ukko was going for a Spire of his own. And how many drones are we going to lose? That's the question here. Ukko pushing on forward. The boys have to be evacuated. The third base is completely forfeited as Ukko goes into his own Spire behind this. The mutas are revealed. Nice target firing onto these Banelings, and now we can attack with our Lings. It looks like Ryu isn't going to lose too many drones. His Lings are doing a great job at just biding time, holding their own. Roaches, though, they're going to move on forward here, but they can't get into a mineral line. They should at least get the hatchery, though. Yeah. They do get the hatchery. They get nice crisis management out of Ryu, but he has to do some counter damage across the map. No spores at the third. Spores just now starting. It's a little bit dangerous. Not gonna lie. Mutas are making the way across the map. The queens are falling left and right. The Lings get into the mineral line. Uh-oh. These mutas, they can do a lot of damage here. The queens are getting pounced upon. We don't have enough energy for transfuse. Ooh, both queens go down. The spores finish up just in time. Ukko's going to be able to hold on to his third base. Oh god! No! Oh, 2 meters go down for free. Ryu just leaving his army a little bit idle, a little bit distracted by the Roach run by. And these mutas, they did some good damage, but we need more. We need some Eric level muta control. There we go. But this is a little bit too late. The Corruptors do come out. Can he focus down the hatchery anyway? Oh, it's going to be close. The Lings dive in. They have +1 melee, but I think they're going to be cleaned up. Oh my god, they barely get the hatchery. Wow. Oh, so important from Ryu. He goes for a Ling counterattack. He does slip into the main base. forcing more lost mining time. Ryu rotating back around. And Ukko, he's in a bit of trouble. Just a little bit as the Lings do wrap back around towards the third base. They try to get one of these spores, but they should be cleaned up in the end. Behind this, Ryu getting his own third base up and running, catching up in the drone counts. Does have to respect the corruptors from Ukko. That's a lot of corruptors. We have 9 in total, almost as many corruptors as mutas. But Ryu doesn't care about the mutas anymore. He's transitioning into roaches. Now this is going to be a little bit awkward because the corruptors, they're going to kill the mutas eventually. And then they're going to have free reign of the overlords as well. But this is a lot of resources that Ukko is spending on not roaches. He's kind of getting bamboozled right now. He thinks that Ryu is making more mutas. It's a trap. We need roaches, Papu. We need roaches. Oh boy, it looks like Ukko has realized this. Going back into roach production. Up. A couple more mutas are shaved off. 2 more go down. But Ryu is getting ready for his roach push. Looking at the units tab here, Ryu has 20 roaches as opposed to the 7 of Ukko. And I think this third base is going to be going down again. Ukko unfortunately spent too many resources on these corruptors and they are not going to help in the fight. The tech switches, Papi. ZvZ, let's go. The boys have to be pulled here, but Ryu is just diving on top of these roaches. He wants to take the fight. He wants to deal some critical damage. Ooh. Does take a bile to the face with the boys being pulled. Ukko is kind of defending. But the mutas are coming in from behind as well. At the same time, corruptors causing spraying down this hatchery. They will get the natural base. Wow, and Ukko will defend. Ukko actually coming out a little bit on top here. Especially after killing that hatchery. Ryu trying to force the issue, but he cannot. I'm honestly really impressed. I thought that Ukko would end up losing his third here. Or at least his workers, but no, he held on to him. Did hold on in the end. Ryu just trying to make as many roaches as possible, but Ukko, he knows that as well. He's kind of keeping up with the roach count. He is keeping up. And Ryu is being forced all in. I don't know if this push is going to work, mate. But he has to. He has to go for it. He's going to be hitting with +2. Gonna go for the one final move here, but oh god, Ukko, he just been pumping out so many roaches defensively. We are even in the roach count. Here we go. The upgrade is gonna help out Ryu, but he is supply blocked, and we have the defender's advantage for Ukko. Yeah, it looks like he may just be able to hold on. Bile's kinda gonna connect, but Ryu's being forced back. Oof, he's droning right now. Oh my god. Ryu gonna try to get into a longer game from this position. Ukko is not gonna let him. Up. Yeah, the Corruptor's just doing too much damage across the map. That one window earlier was the moment that Ryu was looking for when he pushed out, but alas, that is not there anymore. Ooh. The Corruptors coming in clutch, to be honest. They came in clutch, papi. Sniping hatcheries left and right, even getting the main base. And now Ukko does have enough Roach Ravager on the ground to break on through. Ryu having a hard time in this series. Oh, oh, they made a V together. In the final fights of the game, the Corruptor is focusing down another one of these hatcheries with the defender's advantage. Ryu is pushing on through. He's taking a decent trade here, getting on top of these Ravagers, but he loses his third. But try as he might, it's gonna force Ukko back. But Ukko has the control right now. He has the bases. He has the economy. The more efficient mining economy, because Ryu's on one base right now. He has one hatchery left, trying to double expand as we speak. And to be fair, this game was pretty back and forth. There were moments where both players had kind of win conditions available to them. Oh. But alas, GG gets called. Ukko will be taking game number 2 and a 2-0 lead in this series. Oh, GG. Oh. Aye, aye, aye. GG, well played. Ryu's up against the wall right now. It's a best of 5, so we at least have one more game, but Ryu, he has to pull off the reverse sweep, which is a very difficult thing to do, to win 3 games in a row. Ugh. I'm giving him my energy, Poppy, my energy. Ah. Let's go, Poppy. Game number 3. Alright, here we go. I see the screenshots being taken. Este Frost. But game 3 will be taking place here on Gretsvan. Potentially the final game of the series. Here we go. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gretsvan, we have the American Zurich player representing Apprentice Esports, up 2-0. Unomas, one more is all he needs to qualify for ESL Masters America. It is Ukko. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Gretsvan, we have his opponents. We have the Peruvian Zurich player representing the CranKy Ducklings. He needs to win this game and the next one and the next one to take the series. It is Ryu. Needs to win every game moving on forward. Ukko, Unomas is all he needs. Once again, hatch, gas, pool, all around for everyone. You love to see it. Aye, aye, aye. Vámonos, papi, vámonos. It all comes down to this. I think the other heartbreaking thing, by the way, is that, fun fact, Ryu did 2-0 Masa in the qualifiers. Like, Masa was able to defeat Ukko in the qualifying match, but in the qualifiers, Ryu did take down Masa as well, so... Oh boy. Unfortunately, he didn't have his chance at another shot at him. It's all here in this ZvZ instead. Oh boy. And Ryu does have it in him to bring it back. I mean, that last game was really close. It was really close in game 2. On a knife's edge when it came to the tech switches, when it came to the link floods, into roaches, into mutas, back into roaches. Oh. But alas, Ukko was just barely able to not just keep up, but also stay ahead as well. Or get ahead even. And we'll see how things differ. If you recall, game 1, Ukko went for a roach timing. Game 2, Ukko went for his own link flood. Game 3, what is on the cards? What is on the table? Gonna find out. As for the timing, we're just droning. We're going to be looking to take our third bases momentarily as well. There we go. The drone is on the way for that third. Likewise, same can be said for Ryu with those third bases. And yeah, just have our standard openers once again. From this point, though, again, I imagine Ryu's going to be playing it safe. We have that Bailey Nest on the way. Ukko, likewise, his own Bailey Nest. Love to see it. You love to see it, both players just kind of poking and prodding at each other's third bases as well. Just chipping away, trying to force a reaction, trying to force some micro from each other. As, yeah, we're just going to be droning from here. Ryu is making another wave of 6 lings, though. Oh, there we go. Not just 6 lings, 12 lings in the end. Ryu is going to be going for his own ling counterattack here. It is the same way that Ukko opened up in game number 2. So the turns are tabling. Ryu gonna try to be the aggressor this time early on. There we go. Link speed is kicking in. The Lings are flooding across the map. Ukko has to respond very quickly with his Banelings. There we go. 2 Banelings are being morphed in, add to the natural base, but the third is really what is under threat. And Ryu, with his swell of Lings, he can try and focus it down. He does go for this round. Does have a couple of offensive Banelings being morphed in as well, but it looks like Ukko should be able to force this back. The hatchery is getting very low. Up, up. Oh my god. And it looks like the Baneling's going to be able to hold on for the time being. Oh my god, we go for the hatchery! Wow, the Banelings of Ryu just go straight for the hatchery, and it is killed. Ryu going to back the hell off and make sure he survives the counterattack because Ukko is not happy with that. He's flooding across the map with his own Lings and Banelings. The Banelings will finish up in time, but how good is the control? How good is the micro? So far, one Baneling goes down for free for Ryu. But he brings his queens. He's going to be able to hold on. Oh. Meanwhile, both players harassing a little bit here with their own Lings. Just forcing a little bit of lost mind time from both sides. Oh, Ryu going to be able to hold on to his third. More Lings coming out from both players as well. Both players also transitioning into roaches. So we're kind of keeping up with each other here, other than the fact that, of course, Ukko has less lava to work with. We're not really focused too much on droning. Up. Oh, doesn't quite get a Baneling there. Ryu trying to find another way across the map. And both players are getting into roach production. Again, both players are like very like-minded. Very like-minded this game. See roaches on the way. Ryu working on his second gas geyser and his Evo chambers. Ryu just has to be very careful not to drone up too much because Ukko hasn't been droning himself. He's going for a massive roach counterattack. Oh boy. And Ryu will have queens to defend. He has his own roaches, but looking at the units tab here, he is down in the roach count. He doesn't have any spine crawlers either. The Lings are not in position, and Ukko is pushing in. Oh, Ryu risking it all. He's going for a counterattack instead. Can he hold? Here we go. The Banelings are going to be rolling on in. Oh, the Banelings of Ukko are going to be utilized on these roaches. Was that the best move, though, with the reinforcements? It looks like Ryu has the defender's advantage. At the same time, he goes to that Ling counterattack, and drones are falling. Oh, but the roaches of Ukko are pushing on through. He just has too many roaches, and sure, Ukko may be losing some drones across the map, but it doesn't matter. It's all about the roach. The third base has been broken. Oh, the Banelings, no! They crash into the mineral line as well. 5 more drones go down. With these reinforcements, it looks like Ryu's going to be able to hold on, but look at that drone count. Oh. If it wasn't for that Baneling run by. At the same time, more drones are dying across the map, to be fair. Those Lings are still alive, actually. Jesus. Both players hurting, battered and bruised. Ryu going for his own counterattack. He's the one behind in the worker count overall. I'm going to try and get us around here, forces some Ravagers. Up, up, up. Oh. The Ravager will survive. Onomas! Barely gets one. But Ryu just doesn't have the momentum he needs. He doesn't have the economy he needs either. He has to back off. Oof. And Ukko maintains his worker lead. Ryu, though, going for another Ling run by. He is relentless with these Ling run bys. He goes into the third base, getting more drones. 2 more, maybe even a third. And this is forcing Ukko to turn around. Bit of a mistake here, I feel. Ukko moves back with his entire army. Ryu, he's going to be able to re-solidify his bases here on his side of the map. I'm just going to drone. Both players are just backing off and droning. But with that economic lead that Ukko had, we do have a much faster lair on the way, which means Ukko can go into mutas. He has 2 gases. He's taken 2 more for 4. This is looking to be a muta transition. And Ryu is staying on a hatch tech. Oh boy. He may be looking to go for a +1 roach timing. We'll see, because his lair is going to be so much later compared to Ukko's. This has to be intentional. The Lings going for another run by. This time are pushed back. And yeah, here we go. Just roaches on the way. Now, thankfully for Ukko, even though like he's spending his money on tech and he's droning and he's working on all this gases, he is still making roaches as well. So his army is kind of keeping up with Ryu's. Obviously, Ukko won't have +1 range, but that may not matter in the end. It may not be the biggest of deals. As Ukko, now that the lair is done, doesn't go into a Spire, is going into just pure roach. Oh boy. And Ryu is going all in. It's straight up all in. No lair to speak of. No more drones. No fourth base. Pure roach ravager. Ryu is going to be going for one big push. And he's going to be hoping it works. Oof. Once again, dipping in, trying to disrupt the economy of Ukko. We have a Spire on the way. Oh, cancels the Spire. Realizes that yeah, he sees the army pushing. He knows he cannot get away with the Spire right now. He needs more roaches. Ryu's got 35 compared to the 19 of Ukko. But Ryu doesn't have Ravagers. You know, we do have a couple of spellcasters here. This will slow down Ryu. This will buy time. Ryu has to make this push work. He has a lot of roaches. Is it going to be enough? He's going to try and power on through again. The Bile's forcing him to back up, forcing him to stutter step, forcing him to micro. Ooh. And despite having those upgrades, Ryu is being slowed down. That roach count dwindling as we speak. And Ukko just showing to be the superior ZvZ player. GG gets called. Ukko takes the third game, the 3-0, and qualifies for ESL Americas. ESL Masters Americas. Which one? This one. Yeah. GG, well played. Congratulations to Ukko as he does take the series 3-0. Ryu, unfortunately, is going to be eliminated. He at least made it to the closed qualifiers and he's able to earn some money by doing so. But his run does end here. Oh, my condolences, my condolences. To be fair, Ryu, I mentioned it when the open qualifiers were happening. Ryu is focusing on his studies, or has been, and he has been taking a break from StarCraft. He isn't, you know, in peak condition. He isn't focusing on StarCraft like he did, say, last year or the year before that, for example. So, you know, he wasn't as, what's the word I should say? He wasn't as invested in going for a deep run and making it into the main event. That doesn't mean he didn't try, of course. He did, but yeah, you know, Ukko, as he is full-time StarCraft, it does kind of make sense, and it is well-earned and well-deserved as well. Clearly, here in ZvZ, Ukko, he's so good at tech switching, at reading his opponents, at, again, just having the initiative and taking a lead in the overall dynamic of the ZvZ. It can be really tricky as well to try and stay ahead, to keep up with all these counterattacks, to hit these very crisp roach timings as well. Ukko, very clearly good at that. GG. GG, well played. Congratulations to Ukko as he qualifies. Oh, and oh, we should announce that as well. GG, well played. Oh, and now we are nearing the end of the qualifier. Exclamation mark B in the chat if you guys want to have a look at the brackets and figure out what has been going on and where we are